That's 19 home runs so far this spring between those three guys, and those three could be in the middle of the Phillies order. All right, how about this offense? For more on that, let's check in with Murph and Sarge.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, Sarge, here we are back in Philadelphia, but still 2 more exhibition games to go. Now, the Phils offense down in Florida looked pretty good. Looked much improved from a year ago. So should the hitters be where they need to be right now?
Well, just about. We had talked about it earlier there. One of my friends, Hank Aaron, who played a long time ago, said that in that last week you really want to be hitting that ball as hard as you possibly can, be feeling very well offensively. Not only that, mentally you want to be up on your game there. When you take a look at the graphic this spring, they did pretty good. 279, almost 6 runs a game. That's going to help. They're going to need that. But again, the name of the game there, Murph, is consistency.
If a guy doesn't feel like he has the swing that he wants to, I mean, obviously he has 2 more games to work on it here in Philadelphia. But, it's at this point at the
get as long of a chance, but the way guys have been hitting, and particularly that Dominic Brown, things should be okay.
All right, a few more at-bats for some of these guys on a chilly night in Philadelphia. Let's hope it can help. Tom, we'll send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. And there's the guy, Cliff Lee. He'll be on the mound today. How far will he go? Well, Rich Doobie said he's not sure. He'll see how he feels. The On Deck series is coming up next. all around the ballpark tonight. You'll see some of your favorite Phils in one capacity or another. Now, it is cool here at Citizens Bank Park, as you could imagine. So Ryan Howard and everyone else trying to warm themselves up before they head out to take the field behind left-hander Cliff Lee. There's the bullpen. They know their way out there. They're ready to go. They're ready to go for the start of the season. Mike Adams is number 2 behind Michael Stutz as they wander out toward the bullpen. You see the breeze from left to right. It's not Florida wind. It's a little cooler, obviously, but the winds are a-blowing here at Citizens Bank Park. It is great to be home.
Still out of the northwest, so that means it's cold.
Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at shortstop for the Blue Jays, Jose Reyes. Melky Cabrera bats second. Jose Bautista hits third, followed by Edwin Encarnacion and J.P. Arancibia. Mark DeRosa is the third baseman. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, the DH Rajai Davis. Hitting eighth in center field, Colby Rasmus. And Emilio Bonifacio will begin the season as the second baseman for the Blue Jays. He'll bat ninth. And they'll face Phillies left-hander Cliff Lee. Lee in his final tune-up before the 2013 regular season. Wheels, Rich Doobie said he's not totally sure how far Cliff Lee will go tonight. It's all dependent on how much work he thinks Cliff needs as the game goes on.
Yeah, and he can do it in a hurry, too. You see, he's had one of those spring trainings like a lot of guys have. Not great with stats, but he's gotten his work in, and that's all that matters. He'll be ready to start the season next week in Atlanta. One thing about Cliff Lee, he either gives up hits fast or he gets outs fast. There's nothing about this guy that isn't anything that is not up-tempo.
19 strikeouts in 16 2/3 innings so far this spring. So that's right along the lines of what you would expect from a Cliff Lee.
He's fine. He got in a couple of win ball games like guys will down there, and the numbers get a little bit inflated. But everything about him seems to be that he is just fine and ready to go to have a good season, not go through that crazy stuff of last year. The one thing I can't help but notice right away with you and I up here, everybody looks really far away.
They do look far away compared to Bright House Field.
You're so used to being close when you do the games, and this is different.
Jose Reyes leads it off for the Jays. The first pitch of the night is in there for a strike, and it's no balls and one strike. We're underway. Reyes so far this spring, 14 of 29. He's hitting .483. And it's 0-2.
These guys have a really good lineup. A lot of potential offense in this lineup. Depends on their pitching and their bullpen how it holds up, but they should score.
John Gibbons talked before the ballgame today about where he's going to bat certain guys and where guys will play, at least to start the year. And there's no question where Jose Reyes is going to bat. He'll bat leadoff, which is where he's been since he was first brought up to the big leagues with the New York Mets. Here's the 0-2 pitch to him. Curveball, and he just gets a piece of it.
Twice, 2 or 3 times. He hit that thing hit his bat at least once after he swung out, maybe another time. All the spinning around he was doing. Oh, it hit his foot. It almost hit. It looked like he tipped his bat and then it hit his foot.
He fouls another one off, and it remains 0-2.
And that one, you have to get used to this time of the year when you play baseball. And he got the bees in his hands on that one.
Reyes last year for the Marlins hit .287 with 11 home runs and 57 runs batted in. Also stole 40 bases. Swing and a miss. He overpowered him with a fastball. And one away here in the first. It's pretty good life on it right there.
Yeah, I threw him some off-speed, slower stuff before that, and he's able to throw a fastball right by him at 92 miles per hour. Up in the zone, that's not where Reyes is really going to hit the ball. He likes the ball down.
So Lee has his first out. It'll bring Melky Cabrera to the plate. Cabrera, switch hitter, hitting right-handed. He, too, has had himself a good spring, hitting .367. He's driven in 14. He has scored 12, and he's also hit 3 home runs.
Well, their ballpark, when you see the dimensions, you think it's not that hitter-friendly, and it's just the opposite. For whatever reason, it flies out of that place. So they should score and hit some homers, too.
So far this spring, John Gibbons' club has hit 43 home runs. They've scored 158 runs. Now, as they've pieced together this Blue Jays team this offseason, they dipped back into their past to bring Gibbons back as the manager. Good changeup, 2-2 the count.
Yeah, before the game, you introduced me to him. What a thrill to meet Jack Morris tonight.
Yeah.
Who's one of their broadcasters this year. One of the great pitchers and a guy that was so much fun to watch pitch.
Fly ball, shallow center field. Ben Revere is in. Rollins is out. And Jimmy takes care of it. Well, during the course of spring training, we show you some of the new players that teams have. Well, for the Jays, that's just about everybody. I mean, look at all those different faces that are going to be part of their team this year. I mean, that's just a handful.
Yeah, including Mark Burley, who's going to pitch here tonight.
And R.A. Dickey, who will pitch opening night for the Jays against the Cleveland Indians.
Well, you think about it, when you go down the list of teams, this team may have caused or may have put up the biggest amount of news during the offseason with the deals they made.
1 ball and 1 strike the count to Jose Bautista as he takes a pitch at the knees, a changeup. Bautista this spring, 5 home runs, 11 runs batted in. Coming off a year in which he hit 27 home runs but drove in just 65, and that ball is drilled. Revere's going to give it a look, but it's going to be off the base of the wall. And Bautista's going to pull into second with a 2-out double.
Boy, he can drive the ball. He normally he pulls everything's a left to second base. I don't remember seeing him hit a ball out there like that. Maybe it's just a little bit late. It's a fastball away from him a little bit, and he puts a jolt into that thing off the base of the wall. Hit it off that Aaron Rowan padding out there, or below Aaron Rowan padding.
That area that's now enveloped by the Total sign out in center field.
Yeah, it was not padded necessarily the night Aaron Rowan ran into it.
Edwin Encarnacion is behind the count 0-1. Encarnacion just 4 for 18 this spring. He was off in the World Baseball Classic with a number of his teammates.
We've seen a lot of these guys this spring, and they do swing.
In fact, we saw them yesterday.
Yeah.
That ball's hit hard, caught by Michael Young over at third. Right place, right time. And Michael Young wraps up the first inning for Cliff Lee and the Phils. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position. And the introduction of Michael Young to the folks in Philadelphia has begun here in the first inning of this On Deck Series. Getting ready for the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at his starting lineup for tonight's ball game as they get set to take on the Jays. Leading it off in center field, Ben Revere. Jimmy Rollins bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Michael Young. Dominic Brown's in left field. He'll hit sixth. John Mayberry's in right field, and he'll bat seventh. Eric Kratz is the DH tonight, and Humberto Quintero does the catching. And they'll face left-hander Mark Burley in his first year with the Blue Jays, but not his first year in the American League. He is more used to the American League than he is the National League.
Yeah, he had some really good years. No-hitter. Perfect game when he's with the Chicago White Sox. That's when we originally saw him. Last year with the Marlins, and he pitched against the Phillies a lot. He works really fast, throws strikes, tries to get you out early.
And Ben Revere leads it off. Revere's had a good spring. He's hitting .337 with 17 home runs, an on-base percentage of .382. And he hits one sharply towards second. To his right his step is Bonifacio. And one away. Jimmy Rollins will come up.
Well, one of the things Ryan Sandberg and Michael Young worked on was to not be frozen as a pitcher's thrown. Watch the break. Pitcher breaks, throws home, and then you have some kind of a movement, and if the ball's hit to your left or right real hard like that, you're in motion, you're able to maybe make a play on it. And that's a perfect example. If you're caught flat-footed, the ball's hit that hard, it's by you before you have any chance.
Yeah, left to right is what Ryan Sandberg really wanted Michael Young to concentrate on, moving left to right.
Well,
he said the ball's right at him. He'll be fine. There's no question about that.
Well, he hadn't played third, Tom, for a long time. But when you play third base, the ball is on you so fast that you have to do some things like that. A middle infielder, it's not on you like that.
Well, talking about the ball being on you quickly, that certainly is the case on the mound. And Mark Burley takes care of Jimmy Rollins.
You couldn't ask for two better guys to pitch one of the final exhibition games. You talk about guys that get it and throw it. Lee and Burley, they may be 1-2.
Mark Burley every single year is voted the fastest worker, it seems, in baseball.
They would be a traveling secretary's delight on getaway day. Those two, a matchup of those two guys.
Well, the reaction for Chase Utley pretty positive, obviously, after a sound spring down in Florida that got better as the days moved on. The 18 hits and 66 at bats. He's driven in 16 runs. He has scored 11.
Yeah, he's really in a great frame of mind right now after what's going on for him. Just to be able to get out there, play, and play to the level that he has.
Well, he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Well, just considering the fact he hasn't had a spring training in the last 2 years. Yeah. At least the kind of spring training that he's used to.
Yeah, it was fun for him not to be on that stool taking ground balls.
I wonder what they ever did with that stool.
I don't know. They have to bronze it someday. After this career this guy has.
The ball's hit right toward Reyes, who makes a fine play on the backhand, throws low, and Utley's able to beat it out.
I don't know why he backhanded that either.
I think it ate him up.
Yeah, that's what it was. He got caught in between and then decided to take it off to the side, and then he lost all that time when he made the extra movement afterwards. You need to backhand it if you're in the hole, but he's playing up the middle. See right there, that ball's right at him, and now it took a jump on him, and now he can't get it. Hit the mound. Or whatever. Is that what it did? It hit the mound?
Yeah, it hit the mound.
Oh, because it did something to change direction, and that's what got him out of sync, because there's no way he's going to backhand that necessarily.
2 outs, a runner at first. They do score that a hit for Chase Utley. Here's Ryan Howard. Ryan, along with Dominic Brown, is tied for 3rd in home runs this spring with 7. He has 16 runs batted in.
So he didn't have to, normally that ball hit right at him like that. He didn't have to play it into a backhand, but the way that it jumped on him, he didn't have any choice.
Ryan hits it hard off the glove of Encarnacion. Utley's on his way to 3rd. He'll get there because there's nobody covering. And Howard's aboard with a base hit. Well, yesterday he had that shot right at Edwin Encarnacion that Encarnacion caught. This one wasn't. This one hit the ground a few feet before Encarnacion.
Yeah, it's the same thing, Tom, too. He's holding the runner on. That pitch was in on Ryan a little bit, and he just turns on it and hits a screaming one-hopper. And you see Encarnacion decides, I'm going to take this off to the side. Not a bad idea. I mean, the pitcher isn't crazy about the guy taking it off to the side, but that was hit so hard. And Utley running great. You said nobody's covering 3rd, so he just walks into 3rd base.
1st and 3rd, Michael Young the batter. 1 ball, no strikes for Young.
Nobody was at 3rd base, of course, because of that shift. And that would be the catcher, but there wasn't any play anyway.
Sounds like Young may have broken his back. Bonifacio ventures back in the shallow right. Phillies get a couple base runners here in the 1st on 2 hits. They leave 2. On to the 2nd we go. Phillies nothing, Blue Jays nothing. season here at Citizens Bank Park. Their home schedule, that is. They'll take on the Kansas City Royals. It's a 4:05 start, but don't forget Saturday the 6th, the 7:05 Turkey Hill Kids Opening Night. Jimmy Rollins replica Gold Glove Trophy for fans 14 and under. Purchase your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Second inning, J.P. Arencibia leads it off for the Blue Jays. And it's no balls and one strike to Arencibia. He's had himself a heck of a spring, too. After playing for the United States in the World Baseball Classic, Arencibia is hitting .447 for the Jays with 9 runs scored, 4 home runs. He has struck out 12 times, which he will do from time to time. But those are some pretty good numbers.
Well, he had that game against the Phillies. They're all running into each other. That this week, wasn't it?
That was earlier this week.
It was earlier this week. That was worth a week of stats.
It was Monday.
Yeah.
Second strikeout for Cliff Lee.
Truly was hard to remember when that was, but I knew it wasn't that long ago. Monday in Dunedin. Cliff Lee's got all his stuff going tonight in good spots. There's a hook. A lot of times he won't even throw those early in the game. He waits till later on before he throws it. But that was a real good one.
There's Mark DeRosa out of the University of Pennsylvania Wheels. Former quarterback. Mark's had himself a comeback spring, hitting .475. 19 for 48 for Mark DeRosa with 9 runs batted in.
Well, Mark DeRosa's had a nice career, but it's really been sidelined the last few years with injuries. Hand, wrist. He was with Atlanta. He was really a good player. Very versatile, too. You move him all over the place. He knock the ball out of the ballpark once in a while. Solid player. But the injuries have really set him back.
Mike Estabrook is behind the plate today. Wally Bell over at first. Phil Cuzzies at second. He's the crew chief. And Alan Porter, Philadelphia's own, is around at third. Alan Porter is a full-time umpire this year. For the first time, one of 3 new umpires added to Major League Baseball's full-time roster.
Guy from this area.
Up high, 2-2 the count to DeRosa. There's Alan Porter. Is it Montgomery County Community College, right?
Yeah, he's in Blue Bell.
Yeah.
You've played golf right across the street from Montgomery County Community College.
You would look familiar. Swing and a miss. DeRosa, third strikeout for Lee.
That's why you recognize that at Blue Bell Country Club, Tommy.
Well, now 2 outs, and here's Rajai Davis, and you're right, Lee is right on his game.
Yeah, he's got everything going, all his pitches. Change up there, he has a good fastball. But the thing with Cliff Lee, you can tell when he's going to have a good night normally when he's throwing in the spots the way that he is, and he's throwing in all his spots right now.
Davis takes a strike. Rajai Davis will be the 4th outfielder for the Blue Jays this year. He's the DH here tonight.
This guy's a good player to have on a ball club. He can do a lot of things.
It's that ball to shortstop on one hop. And he is fast, but Rollins is able to nail him by a half a step. 1, 2, 3 go the Blue Jays. Pretty good start so far for Cliff Lee as we go to the bottom of the second here at Citizens Bank Park. from Atlanta on Phillies pregame live. Then finish the game with analysis and reactions on Phillies postgame live. Phillies opening day coverage starting Monday night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. And we are just a couple of days away from the start of another season. And the Phillies go right into the fire when they'll take on the Atlanta Braves on Monday. And this guy will be unveiled as the Phillies left fielder for 2013. That's Domonic Brown. At least it seems that way. I think the thought is start him in left field because Delmon Young will eventually be back and will be in right field. Although Domonic has played both spots so far this spring.
Well, he gives you a real good arm in left field, even though that's not the field you think about a guy throwing from. But at least you can stop some guys at third once in a while.
2-1 the count to Domonic. Domonic Brown spring 376 with 7 home runs, or 373, excuse me, 7 home runs, 17 runs batted in.
Well, he really did a great job in spring training. It was one of those things where nobody really knew what they had. He's still a work in progress. I think everybody would say that, but he has improved tremendously. Whether it's dropping his hands, whether it's the newer grip on the bat, whether it's just more confidence, have success. There's nothing like having a little success up here at this level because this game will beat you into the ground as good as any game.
Swing and a miss. And what away. First strikeout for Buehrle.
Who can change speeds with the best of them. And he's not going to throw his fastball much more than 84 or 85. That looked like a changeup. Even you see the changeup grip, the dead fish down. A lot of left-handers don't throw that changeup just for that reason, though, because it comes down and into a left-handed hitter, and that's that happy zone for them.
John Mayberry's now the batter for the Phillies with 1 out. Mayberry making the start in right field tonight. Will be followed by Erik Kratz, who's the DH. He's the number 8 hitter. John hitting, not hitting his stride just yet in spring training, hitting 197. Game, though, is filled with guys that struggle during the spring and then all of a sudden get off to hot starts during the regular season. Grounder foul past Ryan Sandberg. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Does this guy get it and throw it? It's fun to watch him. We saw him, at least 4 times last year, maybe more.
We're not even a minute into this at bat. He's got the count 3-2.
Yeah. Well, he's like Lee. Everything happens fast with him, good or bad.
Back-to-back strikeouts as Mayberry goes down swinging. And there are 2 outs here in the second.
He got a really good changeup. It's funny to watch his changeup too, because it's not like he throws real hard. A lot of times they want 8 to 10 miles per hour difference, fastball changeup. I don't know that he has that, but it's very deceptive. See, kind of look at that ball go down. Now that was up a little bit. Mayberry just swung over it, but his changeup is very effective off his fastballs, cutters, breaking ball.
Erik Kratz, who should be the opening day starter for the Phillies behind the plate, takes a pitch outside. It's 1-0. Kratz this spring hitting .275, 2 home runs, 11 runs batted in. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to him as he takes that one at the knees.
Buehrle is the epitome of that old baseball term, a crafty left-hander. You couldn't throw with this stuff if you were right-handed.
Well, that crafty left-hander has won 174 games during his big league career. Has an ERA of 3.82, which is, is a little high, but you consider most of his time has been in the American League.
Solid.
Swing and a miss. It's 2-2.
You see some of these weak swings guys get down there swinging and missing at him too, but not overpowering stuff. So that shows you he has good stuff when you see this many guys swing and miss at somebody.
Last year he was 13-13 with the Marlins.
In his case, they swing and miss because everything's late. I don't mean they're late. The movement's late on the ball.
And he's just struck out the side. He gets all 3 hitters swinging. So 1, 2, 3 go the Phils. A clean slate here in the second. We go on to the third here in Philly.
Dear Seamus, happy birthday to you.
Seamus Rogers came to the ballpark today hoping to see the Phils and celebrate his birthday, and he not only got that, but he got Sarge in L.A. to sing happy birthday to him. There's Seamus right there with the left-handed glove. Happy birthday, Seamus.
Sarge was the lead singer in that group,
Well, Sarge was planning from the get-go. He said, I know every word to that song. And we said, we would hope you do.
Yeah, well, there's some repetition in that.
Colby Rasmus leads it off for the Blue Jays. Well, this is all part of the on-deck series that we've seen the last few years, where some of the players and also some of us broadcasters find our way around the ballpark and, I guess, pleasantly surprise some of the fans.
Larry was looking at Sarge like, what's my part? He is the Sarge.
He is the Sarge, and as Sarge obviously points out to everyone, he has sung "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at Wrigley Field quite often.
Right.
We'll not do that anymore because they're not doing it anymore.
Not doing it anymore. He wants to do the anthem too. We could
want to do the anthem.
We could talk to Chris Long and maybe set that up.
Ground ball foul by Colby Rasmus. Remains no balls and 2 strikes. Cliff Lee so far with 3 strikeouts tonight. He's allowed 1 hit. That was the double to Bautista in the first. He has thrown 30 pitches overall, 27 in the first 2 innings. Check swing. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Remember last year, Jimmy Rollins was part of the leading the fans in song in the stands. There's J-Roll.
Jimmy has some music background.
Well, Sarge does too.
Yeah, he's a record producer.
Well, Sarge is not that.
No.
Although you never know.
With Sarge, no telling.
You never know.
Come in tomorrow and say, produce me a record.
Produce me a record last night.
You want to hear it? Yeah. Play it for us.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. And a little high. I guess it's 3-2. Emilio Bonifacio on deck. He's the number 9 batter. And a call, strike 3. Rasmus looked like he was frozen, looking for something else. 4 strikeouts for Cliff Lee tonight.
Well, these guys can paint, both of them. And when they're on, you see this. When they're a little bit off, they get hit because they get in the middle of the plate. But when they hit their spots and do the things they want to do, they're really tough.
So Rasmus goes back to the dugout. Bonifacio, a .297 hitter this spring, will take the first pitch over for a strike. It's 0-1 at 90 miles an hour. I have to say, it's good to have the radar gun back, just because we're so used to it. Bonifacio will be the number 9 hitter for the Blue Jays this year. John Gibbons mentioned that before the ball game today. And he'll play second base to start the year. Mysteries Torres will play third base to begin the season until Brett Lawrie is back off what will be a season opening disabled list with an oblique strain. 2-2 the count as Bonifacio fouls it away.
You see the graphics we have up there in the corner. You can see the pitch count, which is new this year, and the radar is a neat thing. So it just adds to the enjoyment of the game, I think, when you see that stuff.
You see the yellow line up above the third. That means we're at the top of the third.
Nobody on base with the empty diamond.
It's like having the possession arrow wheels during basketball games. That popping up every once in a while. The possession arrow during hoops just added to the flavor of the telecast.
I heard one of the broadcasters on the game say last night, it's always good to know who has the possession arrow before you do something on the court. I thought that was well put.
Out toward right field, John Mayberry over toward the line.
Like any sport, there are things that are considered brain cramps, I guess, and the possession arrow could be one of them. If you don't know whose it is.
It happens more on rec basketball games, Wheels, than I think anything else.
Well, it happened in the game last night, and I have no idea what I was unpacking.
Did you unpack your scarf and your ski cap and everything?
I got the scarf in the office.
So we have the current conditions up there above.
Yeah.
Out to shallow right field. Chase Utley's there.
Neat stuff.
And another easy inning for Cliff Lee. So Lee so far is cruising along. He has 4 strikeouts. There's the first one. And he came back to get Aaron Sebia. Also got a swing and a miss by Mark DeRosa as we move along here in Philadelphia. Hospitals, call 1-800-JEP now for an appointment, and buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Number 9 batter Roberto Quintero leads it off, and he swings at the first pitch. Well, Mark Buehrle working as quickly as ever, and he's working as soundly as Cliff Lee is so far.
Yeah, these two guys are dealing.
And we go back to the top of the order. Ben Revere is due up, and for more on the top of the order, let's bring in Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, T-Mac. Well, you know, it has been one of the big questions this spring is how is Charlie Manuel going to put his lineup top of the order tonight? Ben Revere leading off, Jimmy Rollins batting second. But he was asked about that today, and he said, you know, obviously he likes what Ben Revere can do at the top of the lineup, but he also likes what Jimmy Rollins has done at the top of his lineup over the last couple of years, and in particular, knocking in runs. He said, you know, Jimmy Rollins is a guy that knocks in the 7, 8, and 9 guys all the time by hitting doubles and triples and home runs. So right now, Charlie Manuel on the top of the lineup, non-committal. It just remains to be seen, guys.
I think the other thing he pointed out too, Murph, is that you have a left-hander out on the mound, and he does want to split up the lefties that he has, you know, Utley and Howard, and even Dominic Brown. He wants to figure out some way to split those guys up. And by putting Jimmy batting second, you split up Revere and Utley. Obviously, Utley and Howard are back-to-back, but then you have Young batting fifth, which splits up Howard and Dominic Brown, and there's something to that, you know, and it may not stay that way, but I think that's part of his thinking.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with late in the game.
There's a fly ball out to left, and Cabrera makes the catch.
You know, you think about, okay, who's the starter and all that, sure. But where it really comes into play is when a team has those left-handers stacked up out there in the bullpen ready for you, and you don't have all lefties coming up in a row that they can come in and maybe mow you down.
Well, it is, I would think, I don't know if you guys agree, Murph, I don't know if you agree, it's one of the last pressing questions to be answered before Monday's game against the Braves.
Yeah, I think it is as well, but I'm not sure that we're going to have an answer. You know, he may go one way Monday and then something different on Wednesday, as you said, depending on the situation. I guess eventually it will settle down into some kind of, you know, certain role for one of these guys. But I think early on, Charlie's going to see what works and what's working at the time and go from there. You know, Charlie's always liked to play his gut, and maybe that's the way he's going to run it early on.
Yeah, Murph, and some nights it may come down to they'll look out there and see what the other guy has in his bullpen. If the other manager has one lefty or no lefties out there, that can help him set up a lineup.
Oh, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Rollins. And a swing and a miss. Buehrle picks up another strikeout. That's his 4th of the night. Phillies go down in order for the 2nd straight inning. 7 in a row. Retired by Mark Buehrle. We go to the 4th here at Citizens Bank Park. York Mets. All 3 games are night games. Tuesday the 9th is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night, but Monday the 8th, all fans 15 and over receive that cool T-shirt right there. It's McDonald's opening week T-shirt. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com, or why not stop by the box office here at Citizens Bank Park. You could even do so tomorrow as the Phillies and the Jays wrap up the exhibition season with a second on-deck series game here at the ballpark. Melky Cabrera leads it off for Toronto as we go to the top of the 4th. He shows bunt, takes a strike. It's 0-1. Cabrera popped out to shallow center his first time up. Out to Jimmy Rollins. This time he pops one up on the first base side. Ryan Howard over toward the railing, and that railing jumped out a little quick on him. And it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he got over there in good fashion, but he was just reaching. Thought he could have got over maybe a little bit more. Watch how he starts to reach for it. Just reached a little bit too far there, Tom, where it hit him, I think, somewhere near the arm area.
Well, Chase Utley will take the one hopper, and well, no harm, no foul as he throws out Cabrera one away here in the 4th. That'll bring Jose Bautista to the plate. Bautista doubled his only time up. It's the only hit allowed by Cliff Lee.
Yeah, he's throwing really well tonight. Good fastball.
That ball's hit pretty well to, well, not really. It's hit toward the end of the bat. I thought it was hit pretty well.
You know
it's
what?
caught by Bautista.
Well, he had
by
really,
Brown, excuse me.
He had good extension on that. He exploded on the ball. The only difference, he hit that off the end of the bat.
Right.
Other than that, the ballpark not going to hold the ball. Give credit to Cliff Lee. Take a look at it. Right off the end of the bat. And you can see in disgust there. Bautista running to the bag and knowing that he just missed it from hitting it out.
Here's Encarnacion with 2 outs, and Cliff Lee, as he's done most of the night, delivers a strike on the first pitch. Encarnacion lined out sharply to third his first time up. Another strike. He's thrown first pitch strikes to 11 of the 13 hitters he's faced. Did you see the ball strike ratio? Swing and a miss, and he gets him on 3 pitches. 5 strikeouts for Cliff Lee. He's retired 10 consecutive hitters, and we played 3.5 quickly here in Philadelphia. Pretty good breaking pitch right there by Cliff Lee as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? Bottom of the 4th inning. Nice sized crowd on hand tonight for this ball game between the Phils and the Jays. It's supposed to be beautiful out tomorrow when the Phillies and the Blue Jays wrap up the exhibition schedule. And then opening day in Major League Baseball will be Sunday night when the Houston Astros face the Texas Rangers. Sounds kind of odd to say, but it's an American League matchup. Chase Utley singled his first time up, and he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes against Mark Buehrle. Phillies will open the season Monday down in Atlanta. It's a night game. Up the first base line, that'll be a foul ball, and it's 2-1. Meanwhile, the Jays will begin a much anticipated season. There's Cole Hamels, who has shaved his beard but still has his mustache. I don't think I've ever seen Cole Hamels with just a mustache. But he'll start Monday against Tim Hudson for the Braves.
That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Well, he has it shaved down. He had the full beard during spring training.
I think a lot of people are excited to see what Cole does this year based on what he accomplished last season and how he's ascending right now as a pitcher in the big leagues.
I say get ready. Showing a lot of maturity.
Back toward the box, off the glove of Buehrle. 1-6-3 on the putout. And that'll bring Ryan Howard to the plate. I personally think, you know, watching Cole as he's grown up in this game, that he's going to feed off last year more than anything else.
Well, when you look at him, for me, the maturity that I've seen him go into, and not just that, the willingness to learn other pitches to make him even a better pitcher. Before having just a fastball and changeup, coming now up with the curveball, also the cutter. Boy, I can tell you it's not going to be happy days for a lot of the hitters, especially in that National League East, where he's going to be tested. And when you're the number one and you're starting the number one game, that's when the team really will rely on you, because when things are going bad, that number one has to be able to go out there like we've seen Doc do and shut them down.
Yeah, I think what you said at the beginning, his maturity level, you know, as he's gotten more and more mature physically but also mentally, that's what I think, that's where you have so much optimism for what he will do in 2015.
Yeah, and a lot of pride. I mean, keep in mind, this guy here, I mean, and he's a hard worker, but when he made the statement being able to throw that changeup, you know, in his sleep, that just goes to show you how much he has worked on it, because that just does not come just because you're a major league player.
Fly ball out to right field. Bautista makes the one-handed grab. We're through 4 innings here in Philadelphia. The Phillies once again go down quietly against Mark Buehrle. Mark your calendars now for the first Hatfields Phillies Franks Dollar Dog Nights at the ballpark. The first one is Tuesday, April 9th at 7:05 against the Mets. Then Monday the 22nd against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Always a great deal for everyone to come out to the ballpark and enjoy a Dollar Dog Night, brought to you by Hatfield. Again, get your tickets by going to Phillies.com I believe they might be shooting off some hot dogs at some point tonight here at the ballpark.
Like a little appetizer,
maybe
huh?
Tonight or tomorrow. Cliff Lee's last spring training game is in the books. He goes 4 innings, strikes out 5, 1 hit, no runs, and now he'll give way to Philippe Almont. So Rich Dubé said he would let Cliff Lee pitch as long as he felt comfortable.
Wow.
And he was obviously pretty sharp today.
Looked great. Looked really great. Breaking ball, hitting the spots there, which you really like. And not only that, again, veteran players, you cannot really, on spring training, just say, hey, listen, you got to be getting everybody out.
Arencibia hits one deep to left field, and that one is gone. A leadoff home run on the first pitch against Philippe Almont. And it's 1-0 Blue Jays here in the top of the 5th. Arencibia with his 5th home run of the spring.
Right, that didn't take long. Had to be middle in, up. See, wants to start that ball more inside. Larry Anderson talks about that all the time. When you start that little two-seamer and it backs up in that happy zone, you got problems.
That'll bring DeRosa to the plate. DeRosa fouls the first one back. It's 0-1. Philippe Almont so far this spring has been up and down. His numbers aren't. I mean, his numbers are actually been pretty good. He's had some outings where he's worked into jams, but then worked himself right out of jams. An earned run average of 3.68.
If he can master that last pitch that he just threw, he'll be fine. His problem has been not being able to get the breaking ball over the plate and not being able to spot the fastball.
It's a little low, 1-2.
He has a good arm. There's no question about that. Take a look there at those game 6 1/3 inning. Well, what I like about it, those 5 strikeouts. I don't want those the relievers, however, to have too many walks. Only 3 though, but just want to pitch ahead and make sure you're able to make your pitches. With that two-seamer, which is a sinker, he should be able, I think, get a lot more ground balls, don't you think?
Absolutely.
That would help him out coming in those situations where you have runners, say, on first and second. He can get a ground ball, if not that strikeout.
Breaking ball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. He throws a curve ball as his breaking pitch, and he has a split as his off-speed pitch. I bring that up because a lot of pitchers in this day and age, particularly relief pitchers, they'll throw a slider, not as much a curve.
And I got to tell you, just sitting and looking at it on the monitor, it almost looks more like a slider as opposed to the curveball.
Back toward the box, and the 6'7" Philippe Almont takes care of DeRosa.
I think a curveball, I think of that Burt Blyleven or that Don Sutton where it was 12-6. Dwight Gooden. Dwight Gooden used to throw a real hard hammer, 12-6, as opposed to any of it coming toward the side of it.
Davis grounded to shortstop his first time up. It'll be Davis, then Rasmus, and Bonifacio, the bottom third of the Blue Jays order, with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. 1-0 Toronto on a home run by J.P. Arencibia. 1-1 the count. Now, Almont is working in back-to-back ball games for the first time. He'll do that. Jonathan Papelbon is scheduled to work tonight. He worked yesterday. And Mike Adams is scheduled to work tonight, and he worked yesterday. That's all what Rich Dubé designed for these for the last few games.
And every pitching coach has their own way of getting their guys together. Pretty good pitch. But see that pitch there, that sinker, that's kind of almost where you want to start it. You don't want to start it over the heart of the plate and have it come back right there where the hitter's actually swinging.
How about that one?
Good pitch. You like the velocity? You like the spot? He can get him out right now if he can throw that hard slider. Doesn't have to be a strike. You start that over the heart of the plate somewhere. They're breaking down in the dirt. Ought to have a cake.
Well, there you go. Good call, Sarge.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the curve ball he went after.
I've swung at enough of those just to know, believe me, the ones that are in the dirt. And you learn after a while. And the count that I got it on, always 2-2, where you didn't want to strike out, and there it is. That pitch almost looks like a fastball, but I mean, you're calling that a curveball, but you know, if that's his curve, well, good for him. But good pitch there without throwing a strike.
Colby Rasmus struck out looking his first time up against Cliff Lee, who struck out 5 through 4.
Just a bit outside.
Yeah, I think that one got away. Want to know the count? Just a bit outside.
Oh, boy.
Game 1 of 2 in this on-deck series here at Citizens Bank Park, along with Gary Matthews, Greg Murphy, and Chris Wheeler. I'm Tom McCarthy. It's nice to be back home in Philadelphia. Phillies play 2 here. They're off on Easter Sunday, and then Monday it begins for real against the Atlanta Braves. Humberto Quintero didn't know where the ball went, and I think he was apologizing to the home plate umpire. They may have gotten a piece of it.
These are the situations where you got to be able to throw a strike. I mean, he's been away from that plate, but these are the things that Charlie is actually looking for. Then he goes to the breaking ball. That's showing you something, that he doesn't just have to throw that fastball, and then again, catcher recognize that you don't have that good fastball or spotting it. You can go to the breaking ball.
Goes back to it again. It misses. Yeah. It's 3-1. And ball 4. So Rasmus draws a 2-out walk. First walk of the night for the Phil staff. And it'll bring Bonifacio to the plate for the second time. Bonifacio flied out to John Mayberry in right field his only time up, so he's 0 for 1. That's a pretty good speed in the 9-1 spot for the Blue Jays.
Oh boy.
With Bonifacio and Reyes. Last year, a lot of times the Marlins had them 1-2. But with the DH, Blue Jays can use it a little differently this year. Jeremy Horst in the bullpen.
And the one thing you can't teach is that speed. And you're right, Bonifacio, he does have that. I think this is where almost you need to go and settle down, talk to him, just like, and there you go.
Yeah, 10 balls, 9 strikes right now for Philippe Almont.
Yeah. Well, just kind of settle him down, and maybe he's rushing a little bit too much. But the first 2 hitters, I mean, you can see that, again, Almont has it in him. But the consistency that you need to make him feel even good about himself, 1, 2, 3, and the way that you go about doing it. You know, making your pitches, getting that strikeout on the ball there in the dirt. Pretty good pitch there, but when you've been wild and the way that Quintero actually caught the ball will make it where, again, it's umpire's just going to call that a ball.
Well, somebody must have said something to Mike Estabrook behind the plate, because he was shaking his head to somebody. It may have been Quintero. I don't know if Almont may have said something or somebody from the dugout said something.
Yeah, well, a lot of times the catcher, if he doesn't catch the ball where it's really smooth there, a lot of times they're not going to get that call, especially if it's borderline.
Ground ball toward the middle. Or backhands, flips to second, and the inning comes to a close. 4-6 on the putout at second base. A home run by Aaron Sebia has given the Jays a 1-0 lead. set for opening day and the entire Phillies 2013 season. Watch Phillies Focus Sunday night at 10:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Last of the fifth, 1-0 Toronto. Dominic Brown leads it off. Brown struck out his first time up. The first pitch from Burley inside.
Boy, what a spring training. 7 home runs, 17 RBIs. He proves then in spring training that he could hit against lefties and right-handers. Looks solid at the plate.
Well, this is the kind of guy that can bother a lot of hitters. But we've seen Dominic Brown against this style hitter during the spring. Maybe not do a whole lot his first at bat, but then when he gets another chance against him, there's some adjustments that he's making on the fly. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and he does. You know, again, too, when you're looking at a veteran pitcher like Burley right here, it becomes a real chess match.
Try to check. Did he go around? Doesn't matter. It's a called strike 3. He's down on strikes for the second straight time. And Burley now with 5 strikeouts in the game. He hasn't allowed a base runner since the single in the first.
Yeah, well, he can pitch. This ball coming up and in, and this after a slow little breaking ball away. You can see that pitch there. Looked like he caught a little bit of the play. Pitcher's pitch, we'll call that. This guy can pitch, though.
Oh, he can.
Hey.
Burley has not had a particularly good spring for him. A 6.23 ERA coming into this ball game, but the Phillies are not squaring up what he's throwing at them tonight. And as Mayberry is retired by Bonifacio at a 4-3 putout.
Well, this is the kind of weather too. Pitchers like this could just really drive you crazy. He stays pretty much strong as you see him blowing in his hand there. A lot of times pitchers will do that simply because not only is it cold, it'll give you a better grip there when your hand is warm as opposed to being cold.
Eric Kratz takes a little low. Kratz struck out his only time up. Burley has 5 strikeouts tonight and also 6 outs on ground balls.
Yeah, well, then he's a ground ball pitcher, and not only that, very good fielder. Has won a Gold Glove before.
Another ground ball. This one over to first. Encarnacion will flip to Burley covering, and it turns out to be a very comfortable bottom of the 5th inning for the Jays left-hander. 1-2-3 go the Phils. They haven't picked up a hit since the first inning tonight. Sebia. Well, we said that the on-deck series is a little different. The Phillies and their players are involved in some different aspects. What does Cliff Lee do after he throws 4 scoreless innings? Well, he starts loading up the hot dog gun for Cole Hamels.
Yeah, not going very far, some of them, but having a good time. And no one's having as good a time as Cliff Lee. He pitched the way he did, though. You feel good about that. And check, well, I tell you what, that mustache, he's got it going on with that mustache.
Does have it going on.
And the Fanatic having a good time.
The Fanatic, of course, red in honor of Paint the Town Red Week. A lot of events going on all week long here in Philadelphia. And Cliff has got that down pat right now. He's loading pretty well there for Cole Hamels.
And getting out of the way.
And getting out of the way. Well, that's also pretty smart. Jeremy Horst will take over here in the 6th inning for the Phillies. So 1 inning for Philippe Almont. He allowed the home run to Aaron Sebia. And he also struck out 1. Horst is 2-1 with an ERA of 4.80 here in the spring. You gonna do any more singing the rest of the night, or are you guys done with the singing, even Larry?
It's a little disappointed with Larry. You know, he was supposed to be the backup singer, and there was no backup.
It was just you. It was all Sarge all the time.
Well, I don't know what's going on with him. He was in a good mood until some of the confetti started getting all over his black coat.
Is that what it was?
He didn't think it was too funny.
He didn't like the confetti, huh?
Oh, after that. But I heard him kind of chime in toward the end a little bit.
0-2 the count to Reyes in the dirt, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, I have to say, in Larry's defense,
yeah,
when you were cued to start singing,
yeah,
you were ready. I mean, and you jumped right on that song.
Tom, let me tell you, I sang in the choir at church, so I know all about being ready. Let me tell you. Okay.
Well, I think you startled him.
But the kid or
no,
Larry?
Larry.
Well, that's a kid.
I think the kid was startled when he saw you guys coming down.
Oh, he was so happy though.
He was.
I mean, afterwards, shaking his hand, his birthday.
Yep, Seamus Rogers.
Seamus Rogers, right? And when I asked him, was it his birthday? He said yes. He was like, should I answer this or are they going to put me out of here or something? But it was actually a real good time there. But, you know, when you're in the crowd there, other people take advantage. You got to take pictures with their kids. So, I mean, it's...
Well, you're spreading some sunshine, Sarge.
Well, okay.
The young man in the middle right there with the
Phillies hat.
With the with the Phillies hat and the Ryan Howard T-shirt with Ryan's picture on it. Ground ball to shortstop. Rollins throws out Jose Reyes. In case you missed it earlier, take a listen.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Seamus. Happy birthday to you. I don't know what Larry was looking at. I'm going to have to ask him. But maybe instead of singing background, he was watching my back there, as opposed maybe somebody wanting to, you know how they throw the Gatorade on you or something like that.
Oh, so he was looking out for you.
Well, I guess so. I mean, did you see him looking all around like?
I did notice that he was looking for something. I don't know what it was, though. Melky Cabrera takes low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, I thought you guys did great.
Thanks. Not easy to do that in front of a lot of people. You know,
I think it would be nerve-wracking.
You know, that going to have your voice all over the Philadelphia area, and you know this town. I mean, if it isn't right, you're going to be on in the morning and every time else. So, just thank goodness it came out okay. Did he catch that or did he get it?
I think the chair caught it and he picked it up off the chair, which is fine.
Just as happy.
1-2 the count to Melky Cabrera, who has popped out to shortstop, and he's grounded out to second. Blue Jays on top, 1-0. Fly ball to center field. They had 2 quick outs. Yeah, it's that kind of a night to wear the FUD hats, as we used to call them when they were given out here at the ballpark. Flaps are up, though. You know.
Yeah. Not a bad look.
For a lot of folks, though, it's just good to be back at the ballpark.
Well, the city very excited about the team and the chances.
Bautista takes outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
I tell you, there are a lot of scouts that missed the boat on this particular player right here. He had been around for a long time before he started. Not a long time, but had been around before he started off there in Toronto and just really blasting the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah, 188 home runs during his career, but most of those home runs have come the last 4 or 5 years. 2-1 the count.
You should call a late bloomer. You know, the guy, he's always had power, though, but again, having problems staying in the lineup because of the inconsistency of the hitting.
To the right side, Ryan Howard over at first base. Jeremy Horst has a perfect 1-2-3, top of the 6th inning. So pretty nice job by Jeremy Horst. And what might be his final game before the start of the season. We go on to the bottom of the 6th here in Philly. Let's go places. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Jays on top 1-0. Myceres Torres comes into the ball game to play third base for Toronto. The Phillies with just 2 base hits so far against Mark Buehrle. We'll take a look at a new pitcher. It'll be left-hander Brett Cecil in the ball game to face Humberto Quintero. Then the top of the order for the Phillies. Cecil 9 spring training games, 1-2. An ERA of 7.04. Buehrle goes 5 innings in his final spring tune-up. 5 strikeouts. He allowed just the 2 hits in the first inning. 13 consecutive hitters, Sarge. That's what he retired.
Yeah, this talked about him before. Not only does he throw pretty good pitches in nice spots, he can field his position. That ball in and out. Just a difficult pitcher to hit, whether or not you're a left-hander or right-handed hitter. You got to buckle up when you get ready to face this guy.
Here's Quintero. He grounded out his only time up. He's 0 for 1. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. Blue Jays last year had an overall team earned run average of 4.82. And they know, and they knew this during the offseason, that that's just not going to cut it if they're going to win the American League East.
Yeah, well, they took advantage, too, of what's going on in Boston, also in New York, feeling like this is the time that they're going to be able to compete. Look at that Baltimore ball club, the way they played last year. They're going to have to be reckoned with. And on pride alone, the Yankees are going to win a certain amount of games. R.A. Dickey, counting on him. Pitcher from New York. Mets, I should say. You know, and we'll see what happens, though, with him there in that dome. I think he's going to do just fine because he throws a hard knuckleball. And let's see whether or not that his catchers, though, will be able to handle him behind the plate.
2-2 the count to Quintero. Outside 3-2. Well, the Blue Jays have a couple guys who have a lot to prove. I think R.A. Dickey, although he was a Cy Young Award winner last year, I think he has a lot to prove just to back up what he did last year.
Good point.
And Melky Cabrera is the same way.
Very good point on him. Jury will be out on him because of the problem he went through last year.
On the outside corner, Quintero not happy about that call, and he's down looking. And one gone here in the 6th.
Yeah, breaking ball. As he took a look at it, difference between that National League and American League. Even though that was a ball there, you usually get a fastball in that situation a lot of times there in the National League. In the American League, just don't like giving in to hitters.
On away, here's Ben Revere. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He's flied out. And he fouls the first pitch. It's 0-1. Charlie's been making his way around the dugout tonight. We see this from time to time with him. You know, when the offense is not clicking the way he would like, he'll go to a different spot just to see if he can change the offense's luck.
Yeah, well, you know what? We've I don't know if I've ever actually done that, you know, and going all the way down, but I will go to a different spot in the dugout. But I have seen Charlie, we've all seen him go all the way down toward the end. So far, he's gotten a strikeout for being down there.
Ground ball back toward the middle. This will be a tough play. Bonifacio got to it quickly. And because of that, he was able to throw out Ben Revere.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other reason why he could be moving down there, Sarge. He could be cold.
Yeah, well, those old bones he had probably is a little bit cold. Oh, boy. And he's talking to everyone. You know, seriously, I think he's really happy with the way that the team has played this spring. Obviously, he would like a little better defense. But overall, when you talk about the club, he talks about his staff that they put together, and he really does respect and like them quite a bit. Earlier today, Wally Joyner was in there with Pete Orr and talking about hitting the way you have your hands, not just looking at the tapes or hand position. You know, and a guy like that that's talking, you're going to listen to him. I mean, you're going to listen, and he's had a good career in the major leagues and done it before.
Rollins hits one back toward the middle, and Bonifacio, that ball was spinning every which way. I think Cecil may have clipped it a little bit, but either way, it was still spinning, and it spun its way into center field for a base hit.
Good things happen when you hit the ball up the middle. We've talked about it before. It doesn't have to be a hard shot. Here's an indication right here as it goes off the end of the bat. It's got a little bit of spin on it. You need chalk to be able to pick that ball up with spinning so hard. Take a look at it as it spins back on him. And that's why he ended up starting to laugh, going like, are you kidding me?
Now Pete Orr up for the first time. Orr's numbers this spring: 250, couple home runs, 4 runs batted in.
Usually gives you a solid at bat. Kind of knows what kind of hitter he is. A little tougher against the left-hander, though.
Well, these first 2 left-handers for the Blue Jays are just missing the barrel of the bats.
Yeah, they have been. And, you know, this is the part of spring training. This is still spring training where, you know, everybody should just about be on their game. Pitchers know where they want to throw the ball. Hitters, hands are all tough, ready to go mentally.
I mean, nothing sounds clean whatsoever except for Aaron Sevia's home run. Reyes gets to the bag ahead of Jimmy Rollins. Now that wraps up the bottom of the 6th. Sarge, we hardly knew you. Blink of an eye and you're out of here.
2 hits only.
Well, Jeremy Horst gets set to begin his second inning relief for the Phillies against Edwin Encarnacion. Phillies down 1-0. A home run by J.P. Arancibia, the only home run of the game, only run of the game. Stephen LaRue takes over behind the plate for the Phillies. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Ender Inciarte is the new left fielder. His first game in a major league stadium. Freddie Galvis is over at shortstop for Jimmy Rollins. So Rollins' night is done. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And it's low. Ball 3, 3-0. Encarnacion is 0 for 2. He's lined out, and he's also struck out. I think next to Arancibia's home run, he's the guy that hit the ball the hardest at anybody else.
Yeah, been a lot of real hard hit balls in this game. That double, I guess, that Bautista hit to center field, he smoked that one, and then the home run you're talking about by Arancibia, and then a walk there.
Second walk of the game by Phil's pitching.
Well, 2 guys that had a purpose of their pitching tonight, the starters, Cliff Lee, Mark Burley. They were both really, really good, and they just go out there and throw strikes, get guys out quick. They had 10 strikeouts between them. Phillies hits, all singles tonight by those 3 guys. Arancibia, that's a 3rd home run we've seen him hit this week.
Well, here he is again, and he fouls the first pitch off to the right and out of play. It's 0-1. I think a lot of folks are wondering how Arancibia is going to be with this new staff that the Blue Jays have put together. Here between Burley, Josh Johnson tomorrow. He'll pitch tomorrow for the Jays. He's the 4th starter. And then, of course, R.A. Dickey, who's going to open up the season as the starter, opening day starter for the Blue Jays, the knuckleballer. Now, he did catch him during the World Baseball Classic.
Well, they're going to have some change of pace pitchers. You mentioned, Tommy, the knuckleballer in Dickey. And then you have Burley, who just hits his spots, changes speeds as good as anybody when he's on the way he was tonight. And then you've got Josh Johnson, who is still a power pitcher. We saw him the other day, and we'll see him tomorrow. Doesn't throw as hard as he used to, but the guy still have to consider him a power pitcher.
Out toward right center field, Ben Revere and John Mayberry are there. It's Mayberry who makes the call.
So those 3 guys right there will really give you a contrast.
Now with 1 away, My Series Tourist is coming up. Murph, give us some news and notes, buddy.
I will do just that, T-Mac, and we'll start in Detroit, where the Tigers have locked up Justin Verlander through the 2019 season with a 5-year extension on his already 2-year contract. The perennial All-Star will make $28 million per year in those 5 years in the contract. And Buster Posey, he's also celebrating today. He signed the richest contract in Giants history. How about $167 million over 8 years for Buster Posey, of course, a Rookie of the Year and also the MVP last year. But the news not as good for the New York Mets as they continue to get hit with injury news, and that is Johan Santana probably lost for the year with a shoulder problem, probably a torn ligament in that shoulder, as they're going to go in and check that out. But Johan Santana most likely lost for the season. So the news just not good for either of the New York teams when it comes to injuries, guys.
That's essentially the same injury that he had surgery on, and this is the final year of the contract for Santana, the final guaranteed year of the contract for Santana. There was one point when he was with the Minnesota Twins, and even his first year or so with the Mets, where he was one of the best left-handed pitchers in all of baseball.
Oh, he had such a good fastball changeup mix. He'd throw a breaking ball once in a while, but he was a 2-pitch guy that could dominate.
That ball shot through the hole on the right side, a base hit for East Tourist.
I got the feeling that things were not going right for him, though, and they kept backing him off this spring. And you almost expected the DL announcement to come sooner or later, but not this.
So runners on first and second with 1 man down. Adam Lind is going to be the pinch hitter. Murph, I noticed that you're flipping around a notebook there. Is that an indication, a little foreshadowing of what's to come when opening day rolls around?
Well, I don't want to give anything away, but perhaps the notebook will be back. But we got, we're still in spring training here, exhibition mode, so we can't let all the tricks out of the bag just yet.
I did see that there was a delivery made to your area in the office, and there looked to be a lot of spiral in that delivery.
That's true. And, I'm hoping it comes back because the Notebook and I spent a lot of time together last year. And some folks already here in the crowd have taken some pictures with the Notebook today, which is always nice as well. So.
Personifying a piece of paper. Way to go, Murph.
I like it.
You know you're getting big around here when a prop becomes part of the act.
No. Let's make no mistake, Wills. It's the Notebook that people like.
That's right.
Me, they could do without.
Fly ball off the third base line. Michael Young will give it a look.
Yeah, but we can't, Murph. We can't do without you.
0-2 the count. Don't forget opening night, 7 o'clock on PHL 17, and we just might see the Major League Notebook.
And who knows what else we'll say. Will we have the Stump the Fans this year?
Wheels, I believe that John DeSangro, associate producer, has already put all the questions together.
There's a little mystery involved in that. This is nothing like that.
0-2 pitch. In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Or scouting reports, all the neat stuff that we usually do. Oh, yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, the buzzer's all ready to go.
All ready to just embarrass me.
You hear Murph laughing in the background.
Yeah, I hear him.
I do love that buzzer.
Oh, yeah. Just great, that buzzer.
It remains 1-2 to Adam Lind. Lind 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in this spring for the Blue Jays.
Hopefully they'll have the chimes once in a while too.
You're usually good for a chime or two.
Once in a while.
It would be a bell.
A bell. Well, whatever they are.
Down the right field line out of play. It remains 1-2.
Figures they wouldn't have that when they have the other one ready.
Phillies have bullpen action going behind Jeremy Horace. Michael Stutz is warming up. Phillies are scheduled to use Mike Adams tonight and also Jonathan Papelbon. Good pitch. Broke away from Lind. And there are 2 outs. First strikeout for Jeremy Horace.
Horace has a nice mix of pitches. There's Michael Stutz up in the bullpen. And he would probably come in here if Horace can't finish the inning or they get to the point where they don't think that he's ready. You see, he'll throw a good breaking ball to left-handed hitters. He has a changeup to right-handed hitters, and he moves the ball around with his fastball. He can be very effective. He competes, this guy.
Kobe Rasmus walked his last time up, struck out his first time at the plate. Runners on first and second.
Just watching Kobe Rasmus a little bit this spring. He's really patient. He walks a lot. He could be an on-base percentage guy for them. He just fell in Tony La Russa's doghouse in St. Louis, and that was not a good place to be.
He had a good year last year, power-wise. He had 23 home runs, 75 runs batted in.
The Cardinals loved him when he first came up. They thought he was the answer for them in the outfield for a long time because he can run the ball down out there, too. But as we say, he and La Russa they butted heads. And Tony won, as you would expect.
2-0 the count to Rasmus. And a fastball at the knees, 2-1. He's Torres at first, Encarnacion at second.
He gets a good look at the ball because he hits in the front of the box.
There's not many guys that hit as far up, doesn't matter who it's against, but as far up as Rasmus does. His front foot leaves the box, it seems, when he takes his stride.
And most guys like to get as far back as they can, or at least in the middle, and wait a little bit longer and see the ball a little bit longer. He hits right up front.
Well, the runners will now be off with the count 3-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Stephen LaRue letting everybody know, reminding them that the base runners will be off and running. swing and a miss. He got him with a breaking pitch. Back-to-back strikeouts for Horst. He allows a walk, allows a single, but leaves two. Time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. Years. Join the millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every Adam Markey game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere. Bottom of the seventh inning, 1-0 Jays on top. Some changes for Toronto. Andy LaRoche is in to play first base for Toronto. Mike McCoy is over at shortstop for the Blue Jays. In the outfield, Adam Lowen takes over in right field. And the new pitcher is left-hander Aaron Loup. Loup 1-0, a 0.82 ERA. Watch this guy's delivery wheels. 13 strikeouts in 11 innings.
I was watching him warm up. Your left-handed hit, he'd be pulling off up here. That is funky.
Yep.
Man.
He's allowed 9 hits. He's walked just 1. Ryan Howard is the leadoff batter.
Oh.
Coming right at you.
Let's see how much cheese he had. Hey, it's 90. So that's that. The left-handed hitters really don't like that because they don't get hit with that. If it's a real soft tosser, they'll, well, I can take it. Oh, see? Yeah. And now you come with a Frisbee after that, and it could be effective.
Howard tonight is 1 for 2. Singled his first time up. There's the Frisbee. And it's 2-1.
Yeah, that was almost guaranteed.
Ryan Langerhans is the new center fielder for the Blue Jays. Ricardo Nanita is in left field. As the breaking ball's over for strike 2, it's 2-2. There's Ricardo Wheels. He made the trip up from Dunedin. I don't know if you were worried about that or not.
No, I remember seeing him play the other day. Right?
Yeah. Ground ball foul toward the Phillies dugout. It remains 2-2 to Howard.
First game of the season, you're always looking at, okay, when the changes. Oh, that's right. They don't make them. Isn't that nice?
The last couple of days have been okay. I mean, it's changes are. There's usually just 1 or 2.
Was he part of Larry and Scott painting the town red?
He was. Yep. In a big way. In fact, he was the star of the show.
Yeah.
Scott and Larry were just along for the ride.
Supporting cast?
They were.
Kind of like Larry singing tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Kids were mesmerized just by Larry singing, just as they are about the Fanatic. Wearing red.
Sarge attributed to the confetti on his black coat.
That's exactly what it was. Swing and a miss. Howard is down on strikes, 1 out here in the 7th inning. Larry and Sarge will have another opportunity tomorrow to sing happy birthday or take me out of the ball game or something, as the second game of the On Deck series will be underway tomorrow afternoon here at the ballpark. Here's Michael Young. He's 0 for 2. He's popped to second. He's also flied out to right. And at the knees for a strike. It's 0-1. Come next Friday, the Fanatic will be back to green.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of work to get the Fanatic back to green. Michael Young has popped to second, as we said. That was back in the 1st, and flying out to right in the 4th.
He's played in this ballpark before, and the Rangers visited here.
It was kind of interesting seeing some of the reactions for the new guys to the ballpark itself. I thought Ben Revere's comments today on his Twitter account, he said, "He can't wait to play in the bank tonight. I got goosebumps." That's when he arrived at the ballpark today.
Ben Revere has a real joy for the game and appreciation for it. He's fun to be around.
Inside, and it's 2-2 to Young. This is the team that Michael Young began his career with, the Toronto Blue Jays. Did he go? Yes, he did, says Mike Estabrook. So back-to-back strikeouts for Loop, and there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Sure, he get right-handed hitters out with that sweeping breaking ball too. It really fooled Young.
The left-hander coming up, and Ender Inciarte.
Yeah, fans get a chance. There's another guy they haven't seen here in the Phillies uniform, Mike Adams, watching a lot of the games that we televised, probably from Clearwater this year. Got a chance to see Ender Inciarte, but now seeing him in person. We'll also get a shot to see Adams.
Ender is a Rule 5 selection out of the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. The Phillies took him in the major league phase of the Rule 5 draft back in December at the winter meetings. Ground ball right side. Bonifacio waits on it, and the side is retired in order again here at the ballpark. The Fanatic is ready. We'll see if the Phil's offense has a late game heroic in their back pocket. Official HD triple play provider of your Phillies, and by the Quality Plus Ford stores. Well, he played 7 so far. The only offense, a home run by J.P. Arancibia back in the 5th inning. Some changes for the Phillies. Michael Martinez in the game to play third base, and Lance Nix comes in to play first base for the Phillies. And the new pitcher is right-hander Mike Adams. Adams 7 games so far this spring, an earned run average of 1.29, 7 strikeouts in 7 innings of work. Opposition hitting just $160 against him during the spring games.
Put the ball in the ballpark, which is not all that easy in a spring training, depending on what kind of day you're pitching.
One of the biggest changes the Phillies made this offseason was acquiring Mike Adams, signing him as a free agent, and just saying, all right, here's the 8th inning, Mike, it's yours.
Yeah, because he's not a situation guy. He's going to go pitch that inning for you. Got a lot of weapons out there too. Different things he can do with his fastball, changeup.
First pitch to Bonifacio is fouled back. Ruben Amaro Jr., who you see there on the right, Scott Profrock in the green cap, the Phillies cap down below, and Benny Looper next to Ruben upstairs. One of his main targets this offseason was to shore up the 8th inning, which was problematic for the Phillies last year. The one stat that jumps out that we've talked about on occasion was last year the Phillies had 8 games that they lost where they had 2 outs in the 8th inning with the lead and lost the game in that 8th inning.
Right.
They just couldn't get to Jonathan Papelbon enough, and well, Mike Adams is now in charge of the 8th inning when the Phillies have a lead.
Well, he'll cut his fastball, can move it all over the place to left-handed hitters, right-handed hitters. I said his good changeup, spot his fastball. He's not an overpowering guy, but he has a lot of movement on his pitches, and he knows how to pitch. I mean, they're trying to figure out where they want to go. Looked like LaRue went through everything.
There's Chad Durbin, who will also be part of that bullpen. And Chad being utilized not only as one of the pieces before the 8th inning, but also going to be a good mentor for a lot of those kids in the bullpen too. 0-2 pitch coming. Swing and a miss. Threw him a changeup.
Good changeup. Perfect changeup to a left-handed hitter too. If you cut it inside on him a little bit. A lot of pitching, of course, is when to put something on and when to take something off and keep the hitter off balance. That's the whole thing about pitching. Keep the hitters off balance. And this guy, from what we've been able to see, can really do that.
Yeah, there's Jonathan Papelbon, who looks like he's getting ready to pitch the 9th inning no matter what the situation is. Mike McCoy is the batter. He shows bunt, takes a strike. How did the Q&A go today? I mean, I know Jonathan was part of the Q&A today.
He was entertaining, as you could imagine.
Phillies hosted the Chamber of Commerce event here at the ballpark today, and there was a Q&A on each side of the stadium with players and coaches.
He made some head shakers.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah, you know how he is. He's a closer. They're a little different.
All right, well, tell everybody who you had as far as your
I had Roy Halladay, who was great as always. You know, Roy Halladay can really talk about things. Chase Utley was very entertaining, and so was Pap in his own way.
Now, how about coaches? Who did you have for coaches?
Well, I had Rod Nichols.
Okay. New bullpen coach.
Had Mickey Billmeyer,
who was very entertaining,
and the wise young sage pitching coach Rich Doobie.
How'd that go?
Dubes was great. There's Rod Nichols. Dubes, he can really analyze. I would think the fans enjoyed listening to him.
1-2 the count to Mike McCoy.
Of course, he had to give us a shot about not attending many games this year.
Did he ask you how your vacation went this spring? Michael Martinez makes a nice play.
Kept talking about how much golf he wished he could play that we play.
He doesn't need to play as much golf as we do because he's way better than we are.
No, he just enjoys it more.
There's Mickey.
Mick did a great job talking about his new role in the dugout. Mick will keep things lively down there. Right now he's acting a little serious, but he'll loosen things up.
He's going over to the lineup card, making some adjustments. He's looking to see who's due up here.
Yeah, he's having some fun with that.
He's looking up at the board to see who number 20 is, Ricardo Nanita.
He told us don't be afraid to proofread his lineup card.
First pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-1.
You don't want to have misspellings on it, things like that.
Nanita's numbers this spring: 3 for 11, home run and an RBI. Ground ball right side. Mike Adams will finish up shop this spring with a somewhat dominating 1-2-3 top half of the 8th inning. Well, he looks like he's ready to go. Again, the Phillies ready to go this Monday against the Braves. Hey, if you're interested in partial season tickets, the Phillies have 2 different packages that are available right now. A 17 and a 14 game plan. All plans feature great benefits, including ticket discounts and postseason options. Great way to enjoy Phillies baseball and all the terrific promotions going on throughout the season. Get your information now at Phillies.com. Well, tonight at the ballpark, game 1 of this on-deck series between the Phillies and the Blue Jays. It's been all about pitching on both ends of the spectrum. Blue Jays got 5 scoreless from Mark Buehrle to begin the game, and then the Phillies on their end of the spectrum got 4 scoreless innings from Cliff Lee, who struck out 5. Now it's up to the bullpen. Steve Delabar is the new pitcher for the Jays. He's 0-1 with an ERA of 4.26. And he'll begin the 8th inning by facing John Mayberry, then Eric Kratz, and then Steven LaRude is due up 3rd for the Phillies. Eugenio Velez will take over at second base for the Jays. Mike Nickius, meanwhile, is the new catcher for Toronto. 0-1 the count to Mayberry. And 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball to shortstop. McCoy waits for the hop. Oh, that was an odd stretch by Andy LaRoche. I don't know if he started too early or what, but I don't think that's the way he wanted to finish.
No, he got on the bag somehow. Andy LaRoche used to see him play third base all the time. Dave LaRoche's younger brother. I think he thought it was going to be a little bit. I don't know LaRoche's younger brother. I think he thought it was going to be a little higher than it was.
Could be.
And he started to jump, and then was like, oh, I don't have to.
Eric Kratz 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out today. That ball's hit toward left center field. It's pretty well hit. Anita out into the alleyway. He can't get it. It takes a hop onto the track, and Kratz will shuffle into second base with a 1-out double.
That ball was nailed out there. The wind's knocking the ball down. You wouldn't think there'd be a lot of runs scored here tonight because it's cold, wind blowing in, and that's exactly what's happened. But that was a fastball right down the middle, and he nailed that thing. Yesterday he hit a hanging breaking ball. It looked like it was going to be a home run, got knocked down. And he just splits the outfielders.
Phillies have just their second base runner in scoring position tonight. The first one was back in the first. And Stephen LaRude will be the hitter for the Phillies. Nicky is heating up on that first pitch. He is able to scoop it up. It's 1-0. LaRude, a .235 hitter this spring, a home run and 5 runs batted in.
I don't know a whole lot about LaRude, so when in doubt, play a guy straight away or play to count. What they're doing, the right thing is the left fielder. He's shallow with the wind blowing in, the runner in scoring position. You figure he's not going to hit over your head on the offside, so play shallow. It's Nanita out there now.
A fastball first strike, 94 on the gun. 2-2 the count. One of a handful of games going on around baseball today. Some are in the ballparks that teams will play in during the regular season. Others are still being played in Arizona and in Florida. In fact, the Nationals played today, earlier today, against the Yankees down at Nationals Park. Yankees won that one 4-2. Rally cap time, Wheels.
Doesn't matter what time of the year.
Nope.
Go for a rally.
Swing and a miss. He tied him up with a slider. And there are 2 outs, and Ben Revere will get a chance to bat.
Yeah, as Tom said, tied him up with a slider. Look at that spinner. That is your classic back foot slider. You're either going to swing and miss at it or hit it foul.
Well, that's 9 strikeouts now for Blue Jays pitching in the ball game. 5 by Burley, 4 now by the bullpen.
Yeah, Ben, he just likes playing.
He's got Kratz in scoring position. And it's 1 ball and no strikes.
Not a guy that really drives the ball. So, well, the right fielder's way too deep. But the left fielder, Nanita's center fielder, moved in quite a bit with a runner at second base. 2 outs will be off the crack of the bat, tying run.
Now tonight, Ben Revere has not been as patient as we've seen during the spring. But people wonder about the exhibition games. I mean, guys are going up there seeing a fastball, they're going to go after it.
Burley especially, he makes you swing the bat because he's around the zone and he looks like he's hittable. And of course, the ball has all that late movement. He gets hitters out. They have comfortable offers against him when he's on.
Liner foul. And 1-1 the count to Revere. He lost something out there. He lost something. He got it. The ball came flying in. I don't know if he caught it off the carom or not, but he did get it.
He's got one there.
All right. That's a good one.
There's Papelbon. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
He likes that back foot slider. And he's
a good pitch.
They must not see spin on it. Because normally, you know, hitters will recognize that thing and they'll stay off it. But it is late and hard. You see the miles per hour on it, but that's got to be in the 80s.
Ryan Sandberg on your toes over there at third base.
Yeah. Well, Ben's going to be a little bit late on some guys. He's just trying to slap it around. Rhino right now just trying to see if he has any chance to score. Eric Kratz from second base, as shallow as those outfielders are on the left side and center field.
Yeah, these two games are important for Sandberg over at third base as the coach, just to see how the ballpark plays. Broken bat, grounder back to the mound. Head of the bat went all the way out toward the end of the grass at second. And the Phillies leave one in scoring position. 8 in the books. On to the ninth we go in a 1-0 game. City Royals. Well, all fans 14 and under coming to that ball game will receive that right there. The Ryan Howard wiffle ball set. Compliments of IBEW Local 98. Make your plans now to get tickets for the Phils and the Kansas City Royals. Phillies.com is where you can check out what's going on as far as the Phillies go. Everybody loves wiffle ball, Wheels. Doesn't matter how you play it.
So much fun to renew that interest in that. Wonderful.
You want to play again?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'd play again without cameras.
Well, there's always a camera around, Will.
Always a camera around. My. Some of us are slow to learn that.
Yeah. It's taken you, what, 42, 43 years?
Well, especially in the last 5 or 6. There seem to be more cameras than ever.
Jonathan Papelbon 1-1 with an ERA of 9.82. 10 strikeouts and 7 in the third in spring training. And he's going to face Ryan Langerhans. Pap going over some signs maybe with Stephen LaRue.
Yeah.
Also talking about the hitters that are scheduled to come up. Got to plan ahead.
A little tougher in these games.
First pitch is outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
Fan asked a really good question today about to Papelbon and Halladay about difference between the American League and National League. And the first thing you think about right away is a DH, obviously. But Doc Halladay, Roy Halladay, who always.
That ball swatted pretty good to right field. Mayberry on the run, and he's going to stay in the yard. He leaps up at the last moment to make the catch. What away here in the ninth. Wheels continue.
Well, here's a replay first. As you said, that's a nice play by Mayberry. Got to get used to your own ballpark again when the warning track comes up where the wall is, and he never really did find it, and then just put his hand up at the end. But he knew he was close to the wall because he started to feel that warning track. Anyway, Roy said, well, obviously for me, it's much easier to pitch in the National League because I face the pitcher. But he said Papelbon, it's not that much easier for him because he's never going to face a pitcher.
Right, he's going to face a pinch hitter in that pitcher's spot.
That was a great point.
Andy LaRocha, .245 hitter in the spring with 4 home runs. Grounded to third. Michael Martinez took his half step back. Throws low to first, and it's off the glove of Lance Nix. That'll be E5 and a base runner here in the 9th inning.
And Martinez can throw, and he just kind of goosed that one over there. And Nick's trying to dig it out, couldn't do it. Phillies had some problems with defensively earlier in spring training. They rectified a lot of it as it went along, but that was just a careless play there.
Now Mike Nikias up for the first time. Popped him up. Up the third base line, foul territory. LaRue puts it away. And now 2 outs. Well, now 2 outs. Myseries Torres is going to be the batter. These Torres singled his last time up. Ooh. Threw him a splitter right there, and that looked like a pretty good pitch, didn't it? Maybe a little off the outside part of the plate.
It's close.
Ground ball back over the middle, and Galvis makes a sliding play. What a play by Freddie Galvis. It doesn't matter if it's an on-deck series game, a regular spring training game, or a regular season game. That is pretty sharp defense by the Phillies shortstop. Not only to get to it, but to pop back up and to throw an absolute seed over to first base for the final out. On Chevrolet Presents Sports Night tonight at 10:30 over on Comcast Sports Net. Well, there's certain guys that are a lot of fun to watch offensively, defensively, running the bases. Freddie Galvis is one of those guys, Wheels, as the Phillies will get one last at bat. He's fun to watch in a lot of different facets.
He sure is, Tommy. Talk about Ben Revere loves to play the game. Well, so does Freddie. He just wants to be on the field. He'll play anywhere you want, do whatever you want him to do, and he's just so talented. Pap gives him a little thank you. Not everybody can make those plays. I appreciate that.
You know, Papelbon done for the night. And as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, the Phillies are looking to try to tie this ball game up. They'll do so against another new pitcher for the Blue Jays. It's former Phil Juan Perez. 7 games so far this spring. 5 strikeouts and 5 2/3.
This guy came in, struck out 3 hitters on 9 pitches.
Yeah.
And then the next time out, he threw like 12 straight balls.
Yeah, he was having trouble with the strike zone after that.
Which has been his history. Why, you know, you look at him and go, oh, my goodness, we may have something here. And then you go, oh, that's it. That's the reason.
Yeah, he's fallen every which way. Arms are flying, legs are flying. Galvis batting right-handed, switch hitter. 269 this spring. with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, a lot of extra base hits for Freddie Galvis. He has 21 hits overall, 7 doubles. He's pulling away, and he fouls it away. It's 0-2. Only run, a home run in the 5th inning by J.P. Arencibia. And called strike 3. Phillies have disagreed with Mike Estabrook's strike zone at certain times tonight. One away now for Pete Orr, who grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. And it's over for a strike. It's hooked foul, so it's 0-2. Good play by that fan down there to smother that ball. Back-to-back strikeouts. Well, here he goes again.
Said he fouled it.
He did say he fouled it, and Pete Orr is saying, come on. I guess you would think that a hitter would feel it if he fouled the ball off.
Well, it made some sound.
I could not tell whether he hit it or not.
Well, something made the catcher
did
was
move
distracted.
a little bit.
Yeah, catcher wasn't able to catch it cleanly, and he definitely could have tipped that thing.
The Phillies down to their final out. Here's Nix with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. And he hits it sharply, but right at the shortstop McCoy. Stumbles for a moment, and the ball game is over. So the Toronto Blue Jays have taken game 1 of the on-deck series against the Phillies by a final score of 1-0 on a cool night here in Philadelphia. Tonight's ball game was all about pitching, whether it be the starters for the Phils, or the starter for the Phils, or the starter for the Blue Jays. And then, of course, the Phillies bullpen and the Jays bullpen kind of worked their magic, except for the home run by J.P. Arencibia. 1-0 Blue Jays. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.